Whenever Republicans oppose Trump's tax bill, they always do it for the wrong reasons. And that's exactly what's going on today. One of Trump's biggest supporters, Kevin O'Leary, is slamming Trump's bill. But just like House Republicans who vowed not to support it, he's on board in principle, just objects to one thing in particular. Now, make no mistake about it, the House Republicans who opposed the bill were not talking about how much the bill was going to support the constituents in their home states. They weren't objecting because of the impact on farmers, and they certainly did not oppose the bill because it cuts Medicaid, which is going to gut rural health care in this country. No, they were opposed to the bill because it didn't cut Medicaid enough. Yeah, that's right. They were angry that the bill did not screw poor people enough. And it's a sign of how much the Republican Party has been vacated in place of MAGA, that there isn't even the need to lie about the bill anymore. As recently as the beginning of May, Trump was out there lying about this bill.
Everything in there is good for Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else. These will be the biggest tax cuts in American history, with 100% expensing, which is something that people cannot believe they're getting. We did it in the last one, and we had the most successful economy in my first 4 years that we've ever had, the history of our country. And expensing was one of the things that led to that. But it's 100% expensing for companies investing in America and increasing take-home pay for the typical family by thousands of dollars a year. And to show you how middle income this is, there'll be no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax for the great seniors in Social Security. So you have no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And we have full deduction for interest. If you buy a car that's made in America, you get an interest rate deduction. That's going to be it's got to be made in America.
Yeah, only one problem there. The bill ends up with none of those things. Tips are still going to be taxed. Social Security is still going to be taxed. And especially overtime is going to be taxed. All that was gutted by the House. And now it's moving on to the Senate. And so here's Trump doing his best Al Jolson impression, talking about the bill going to the Senate.
It's important for the country. This is the greatest bill that will ever, I think it's the most important bill this country just about has ever done in terms of size and scope. That's why we call it the great, big, beautiful deal. I mean, it really is. The bill is, I think it's going to be one of the most important. It's the biggest tax reduction in history. Biggest regulation reduction in history. Incredible for Medicaid, Medicare. The only thing, we're going to leave it exactly as it was, other than for obviously waste, fraud, and abuse. We're strengthening it. We're going to make these things even stronger. The Democrats are going to destroy Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. And we're going to keep them, but even make them stronger.
So now, if butt-kissing Kevin O'Leary opposes anything, you would think it would be abandoning the no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security. I mean, Kevin O'Leary hates taxes. But no, that's not his objection. Listen to his real objection.
Bill is a disaster for small business. Why?
Very simple. You remember the PPP and ERC programs. They were the only bills available during the pandemic to small business. All the other bills, like the CHIPS and Science Act, the infrastructure bill, all of that, there wasn't a dime in there for small business. And there are millions of small businesses in America. And they drew down the PPP and the ERC to stay alive and keep their employees employed. And it worked. Now, we've got a situation in this new beautiful bill, and I don't think anybody reads these things. I read it. I read all these bills through the eyes of small business. And I found a section in there that looks like a cut and paste that says the IRS will get extended powers to audit small businesses for up to 9 years that took the ERC. Now, that is going to cause chaos in valuations. If you have that hanging over your head, it almost seems unfair and un-American to do that to small business. And I'm not sure everybody's aware of this provision in the bill. I'm heading down tonight to the Hill to get a gong and walk down the halls banging it, saying, what are you guys doing here? You can't do that to small business. Somebody should fix this in the big, beautiful bill, because it's not beautiful for small business. That's totally unfair, because if you're trying to do a deal or get financing or raise capital, and you know you've got that uncertainty for 9 years, that's going to cause chaos.
Well, look, we've had Kelly Loeffler on this program, the head of the small business, and she's talked all about supporting small business. Are you telling me that there's nothing in the bill that supports small business?
No, I'm telling you, Maria, there's a provision in here that hurts small business, and it really will be devastating to them. And I don't know how it got in there. It could have been a cut and paste from a previous bill. But whatever it is, somebody's got to raise the red flag, and I'm going to do it, because this is not good. You know, small business creates 62% of jobs. And every small business in my portfolio has called me and said, what the hell is this? Where'd this come from? Of course I took ERC because I had to stay alive, and now they're punishing me for it. I understand, Maria, there was fraud in the ERC, as there's fraud in every government program. But to punish every small business in America this way makes absolutely no sense.
And so what is Leary's point? It's that the bill is set to have the IRS go after small businesses big time. As much as Republicans hate to admit it, the government needs to bring in revenue. This bill is specifically designed to make cash flow to the top, but still fund the government on the backs of small businesses and hardworking people in the middle and working class. O'Leary objects to the IRS being able to pick on small businesses, but he says nothing about how the big money is in tax avoidance and downright cheating by big business. He'll pound and stamp his feet, but in the end, the protests will be duly noted, and then Republican senators and Donald Trump will make sure that the money keeps flowing to the top. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.